You know, it really wasn't that long ago that when we talked AI in the workplace, it was pretty much just robots,
Yeah.
assembly lines.
Yeah, that was definitely the main picture for a while.
But the sources you shared, they paint something, well, vastly different.
Right.
So today we're really going to dig into how AI is genuinely changing the game. It's moving way beyond that simple automation idea.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission, let's say, is to really unpack, based on this material, the biggest ways AI is transforming how we actually work.
Okay.
What it means for our jobs, our roles, and maybe most importantly, how it's unlocking new possibilities, stuff we maybe haven't even thought of yet.
Absolutely. And you can really see, looking at these sources, that AI's role has fundamentally shifted. It's not the same conversation anymore.
How so? What are the big shifts?
Well, there are kind of two main things jumping out. First, AI isn't just for the boring, repetitive tasks anymore. It's actually becoming like an engine for innovation and collaboration, too.
Yeah, innovation and collaboration.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And second, it's not just tweaking the jobs we already have, it's fundamentally reshaping them. The actual workflows we use day to day are changing.
Right, so deeper changes.
Much deeper. Okay, so let's maybe start with that first bit. How AI is going from just, doing tasks to giving us actual strategic insights.
Yeah, let's dive into that, because that sounds like a major leap.
It really is. What's fascinating here is how we've moved from automating, say, data entry to AI analyzing these massive data sets, like truly enormous.
And pulling out what? Actual insights.
Exactly. Meaningful insights. Think about fields like finance or healthcare, even marketing.
Yeah.
These AI tools are sifting through just mountains of information.
Stuff humans couldn't possibly process.
Not at that scale or speed, no. They're spotting trends, finding patterns. One thing in the data you shared really stood out to me.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It was how an AI found this totally untapped market segment. It did it by cross-referencing customer behaviors that seemed completely unrelated.
Wow. And traditional methods missed that.
Completely missed it. So, you see, it's not just about being faster. It's about a deeper level of understanding that leads to, frankly, smarter decisions.
Okay, that makes sense. And it feels like a real departure from those early, maybe slightly fearful ideas about just robots taking over everything.
Right, the pure automation fear.
Yeah. The sources you sent seem to really emphasize that it's less about replacing people and more about augmenting us, making us better.
That's exactly the word they use, augmenting.
Yes.
Boosting our capabilities.
Can you break that down a bit? What are some specific ways AI is doing that based on the material?
Sure. So one big area highlighted is what they call decision support systems.
Okay.
Imagine business leaders feeding market data, sales figures, whatever, into an AI. And the AI doesn't just analyze it. It predicts potential outcomes of different choices, and it can actually suggest the most effective strategies.
So it's like having a super analyst on Cult 247.
Pretty much, yeah, a super-powered advisor. Then there's another area, maybe a bit more surprising, creative collaboration.
Creative. Yeah. How does AI fit in there? That seems counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? But AI is actually starting to assist in creative fields. It can help with brainstorming, like generating initial ideas.
Really?
Yeah, or drafting initial content, even helping with aspects of product design. One source mentioned how an AI analyzed thousands of successful ad campaigns.
Okay.
And it generated these really unconventional taglines, things human marketers apparently dismissed at first.
Do they work?
Turned out they were incredibly effective. So the AI handles some of the legwork, maybe the more repetitive creative tasks, and it frees up the human creatives to focus on the truly innovative, strategic parts.
That's wild. AI is a creative partner, almost like a digital muse.
Yeah.
That felt like pure sci-fi just a few years back.
Exactly. And then linked to that is the third point, skill enhancement.
Skill enhancement. How does that work?
By taking over those lower value, maybe more time-consuming routine tasks.
Right. The stuff nobody really loves doing anyway.
Precisely. AI frees up professionals to actually focus on developing higher-level skills. Strategic thinking, complex problem-solving, learning new things.
So it's about elevating the workforce, not just replacing parts of it.
That's the core idea. It fosters this synergy, this partnership between human expertise and the capabilities of AI tools. And that synergy is what ultimately drives better performance for the whole organization.
Okay, so AI is changing what we do, giving us insights, helping us create, letting us focus on bigger things. But it's also changing where and how we work, isn't it?
Absolutely. The whole dynamic of the workplace itself is being redefined.
Let's talk about that. How is AI reshaping the actual environment and interactions?
Well, one really interesting development is the rise of what the sources call smart workspaces.
Smart workspaces, what does that mean in practice?
Think about AI-powered sensors, Internet of Things devices,
Yeah.
everyday objects connected online, collecting data.
Right, IoT.
These are being built into physical offices now. It's not just theory. AI is monitoring energy use, optimizing how resources are allocated.
Like meeting rooms or equipment.
Exactly. And even adjusting office layouts based on real-time data about how people are actually using the space. It learns and adapts.
Huh. So the building itself is becoming sort of intelligent, responsive.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. Responsive. And then in the virtual world, where so many of us work now,
Right.
AI is making a massive difference too. Think about virtual meetings.
Yeah. How?
Well, AI can provide instant transcription, real-time translation if you have international teams.
Oh, wow. Translation on the fly.
Yep. And even doing data analysis during the meeting itself, pulling up relevant charts or information as you discuss it, it just helps everyone stay aligned no matter where they are or what language they speak.
That translation piece alone sounds huge for global companies.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just meetings, right? The sources also talk about how AI is getting baked into our day-to-day team communication platforms.
Like Slack or Teams or tools like that.
Exactly. Collaboration platforms are getting infused with AI features. Things like natural language processing, NLP, and machine learning are streamlining project management.
In what ways? Can you give examples?
Sure. We already mentioned real-time translation, breaking down language barriers. That's huge for smooth communication.
Definitely.
Then there's sentiment analysis. AI can analyze the language being used in team chats or emails anonymously, usually to get a sort of pulse check on team morale.
So it can spot if things are maybe getting stressed or negative.
Potentially, yeah. It can help managers maybe spot issues bubbling up before they become big problems.
Interesting. What else?
Another one is content curation. We're all drowning in information, right?
Tell me about it.
AI can help by automatically finding and summarizing relevant articles, reports, or internal documents related to a project or topic. It cuts through the noise.
Okay, so it aggregates the important stuff, saves you from information overload.
Exactly. It helps teams stay informed without getting totally overwhelmed.
So putting it all together, these AI enhancements in communication, it sounds like it's not just about being faster or more efficient.
No, not just that.
It's also maybe about creating a more connected feeling, a more inclusive environment.
That's a really crucial point the sources make.
Yeah.
When communication flows better, when language isn't a barrier, when people feel more understood, it naturally boosts productivity, sure, but it also fosters that more inclusive atmosphere where diverse teams can really thrive and contribute their best work.
Which makes sense. Better communication usually leads to better teamwork.
Always.
Okay, but with all this change, new tools, shifting roles, smart workspaces, there's obviously a huge human side to this. People need to adapt. What do the sources say about getting the workforce ready?
Yeah, that's absolutely critical. It brings up the whole area of reskilling and workforce transformation.
Reskilling.
As AI reshapes these jobs, it's just essential that employees get the chance to learn new skills. It can't just happen to them.
So what kind of skills are we talking about?
The texts really emphasize training programs focusing on things like data literacy, just understanding data better. Also, getting a handle on the fundamentals of machine learning, even if you're not coding it yourself.
Just knowing how it works, basically.
Exactly. And becoming really proficient with all these new digital collaboration tools. These kinds of programs are key to helping people move into those more analytical, more strategic roles that AI is actually helping to create.
Right. So it's not just training on how to click the buttons on the new AI software.
No, it's deeper.
It's about giving them the underlying knowledge to actually work with the AI effectively as a partner.
Precisely. And right alongside that skilling piece, the sources stress something else equally important: ethical considerations and trust.
Ah, yes. Trust. That seems vital if we're relying more on AI.
It's fundamental. If people don't trust the AI systems they're working with, if they worry about bias or privacy or how decisions are made, they just won't embrace them fully.
You lose that synergy we were talking about.
You lose the whole benefit, yeah. So the sources highlight the need for clear policies, policies that ensure transparency in how AI is used, fairness in its application, and accountability when things go wrong.
So things like making sure algorithms aren't biased, protecting employee data.
Absolutely. Safeguarding against bias in decision-making, protecting privacy, these are non-negotiables. Building that trust in the AI systems is completely essential to actually get the maximum benefit from this human-AI collaboration.
Makes perfect sense. You can't collaborate effectively without trust, whether it's human to human or human to machine.
Mm.
Okay, so looking ahead then, painting a picture based on this material, what does the future of this AI-driven workplace look like?
Well, the picture the sources paint is one where that collaboration, that human-machine partnership, becomes increasingly seamless, almost indispensable, you could say.
Indispensable. So AI gets woven even more deeply into everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The prediction is that AI will integrate more deeply into almost all aspects of work, from the really high-level strategic planning all the way down to day-to-day customer interactions and how we develop new products and services. This level of deep integration, it's really going to redefine what work even means in this increasingly digital economy.
It sounds like we're shifting from AI as a specific tool we pick up and use to AI being more like an embedded layer,
Yeah.
a constant partner in the background and foreground.
That's a great way to think about it, an embedded partner. But, the techs are realistic too. They acknowledge there are definitely challenges organizations need to navigate.
Like what kind of challenges?
Well, managing these big transitional periods, for one. Change isn't always easy. Addressing potential job displacement concerns head on, even if the net effect is role transformation.
Right, the anxiety is still real for people.
It is. And crucially, fostering a workplace culture that really embraces continuous learning and improvement as just the normal way of doing things.
So it's not like flipping a switch and suddenly we're in the AI future.
Definitely not.
It's a journey for individuals to learn and adapt, and for organizations to manage that change thoughtfully.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing process. But the overarching message, I think, is quite optimistic.
Yeah, how so?
By truly embracing AI not as a threat, but as a genuine partner, companies have this incredible potential to create work environments where technology doesn't replace us, but actually amplifies our human potential.
Amplifies potential, I like that.
Yeah, opening up totally new opportunities for growth, for innovation, and maybe ultimately for a more engaging and fulfilling way to work.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up then. Based on our deep dive into these sources today, the big takeaway seems clear. AI's impact is way, way beyond just automating tasks now.
Miles beyond.
It's actually driving innovation, it's making us potentially smarter and more creative in our jobs, and it's fundamentally changing how we work together, how we collaborate.
Exactly. And maybe the most important concluding point from the material is this. This transformation isn't primarily about jobs disappearing.
Right. That's not the main story here.
No, it's really about redefining the roles we have, redefining our capabilities, and genuinely unlocking opportunities that, frankly, we probably couldn't have even imagined just a short while ago.
Which definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How are these big AI shifts going to specifically shape your own work, your industry? What does the future of your particular field look like with AI as an embedded partner?
Good questions to ponder.
Yeah. Maybe time to dig into some of those industry reports or expert analyses the sources mentioned just to stay ahead of the curve on this. It's moving fast.